And welcome to Silver Screen, where it's basically just two guys sitting around talking about movies. You wanted to talk about horror films or horror TV shows, right?
No. I want to segue into something else. So I would like to segue into Silicon Valley, the television show Silicon Valley. I actually, I think that this is a brilliant comedy. It really is. This series is just hysterical. Each season has been so delightful.
Steve Jobs or Steve?
No, I heard you.
Which one?
Jobs.
Jobs was a poser. He didn't even write code.
Yeah, similarly, this show, it reminds me of, I don't know if you ever watched The League.
I love The League. That is my criteria for success in a woman. If I show her The League and she loves it, which actually is not good sign for my current girlfriend who hates The League. But just saying, like, if there is a woman out there who loves The League, call me.
Foreskin is a MacArthur family tradition, like alcoholism. Look, I'll show you.
What did you do?
Yes. Look at this. Just hold on. I'm just going to give an example. Look how beautiful and smooth this looks.
It's a hoodie.
Well, how do you wash it?
Well, it's easy.
You just got to get in there with soap and water.
Right there, get a
Scrub
bit
it
of
up.
soap.
Okay.
Guys, I'm not a human dick, okay?
I think history has proven otherwise.
It's funny you say that, actually. That's another interesting segue right there, actually. I think there's huge criteria on what people like in art. So, like, I know from my brother has criteria on people that appreciate painting and drawing and things like that. I myself have criteria like you, like film, where, like, if you like a really dumbass film, that's it, I'm done with you. It's very, what, I'm gonna coin a term here and now. This is me creating an actual word now for the rest of life. I hope people catch on to this. It's very Seinfeldian, where it's just like a Seinfeld episode where almost everything is a criteria in life for our relationships to kind of sync up and match. And if you fault anyone along the way, it's like, all right, we're done. I think movies is a great criteria for that. I think it is. Absolutely. Like, what's the shittiest movie you think you've ever seen?
Oh, you know what?
There has to be a worse.
Moonstruck. Have you ever seen Moonstruck? You remember that old movie starring Cher and Nicolas Cage?
Oh, wait a minute. No. I'm not. No. Come on.
Yeah. That movie. My criteria.
That movie's brilliant, Milo.
I've created the Moonstruck scale for crappy movies. And this isn't a crappy movie. This is like, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that's a shitty movie. The Moonstruck scale for movies is how boring a movie is. I've literally attempted to watch that movie twice, maybe even 3 times, and I could not sit through it. Like, I think one of the times I fell asleep.
Oh. Adios mio. Oh.
So I shouldn't say it's not a crappy movie. It's just overrated and boring.
It is an amazing movie, man. It's Olympia Dukakis. It's
okay. Let's get off
my biggest love for that film is
Nicolas Cage.
No, come on. Let me talk about it.
You want to have Nicolas Cage's babies?
No, Olympia Dukakis. I want to have Olympia Dukakis' babies.
She's kind of old. Isn't she?
I think she might be past, actually, but I don't know. I want old lady babies. Yeah, let's do it.
I was say, because she was...
IVF, baby. Let's go.
She was pretty old in that movie, too. So, okay. Crappiest movie, though. Like, what comes to mind as the crappiest movie?
All right. Wait. Milo, how do you define Shawshank Redemption?
Brilliant.
In your list.
Love it. Why, you don't like Shawshank Redemption?
I do. I love it. It's an excellent film. Would that be the top of the list?
No, I don't have a top. I hate top lists because, like, it implies that there's, like, one movie to rule them all kind of a thing. And I like different movies for different reasons. But Shawshank Redemption is a brilliant movie,
Oh, my God. Milo, did you just analogize the AFI's, top 100 list with Lord of the Rings? Like, there's only one to rule them all.
Yes, I did. Speaking of that, The Hobbit, there's another super crappy movie.
I think there are some really bad films out there. So do you remember back in the day, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yeah.
I think that's a horrible film. I think it's actually, if you look back in time, and And there's some really bad horror films, like the old black and white Draculas and Frankensteins and werewolves and like sloth monsters and whatever. Like these are all like very horrible films, but I know that they were relating to like the Ed Woods of the world. Ed Wood only had so much to work with, so he created horror films that, he could do from the back of a garage or a warehouse or something. So I get the cheeseball nature of the whole thing. But like, to me, I think if we're going to go to the direction of horror films, I think a lot of horror films present day fall flat. And I'll just say right off the bat, one of my all-time favorite horror films would be The Shining or Aliens, maybe even The Exorcist.
Yeah. I do disagree with you on Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but I'm not too disagreeing on it because I think that was a good horror film for the time and the context that it was made in. I haven't seen it in a while, so maybe it doesn't stand the test of time, but I would imagine I'd still like it because I actually kind of like cheesy horror films. Yeah, the Exorcist was brilliant, and the special effects on the Exorcist are so good considering the time that was made in. What was the other one you listed?
Aliens, The Shining, and The Exorcist.
Yeah, Shining's a brilliant movie.
It's probably one of my quintessential horror films that I still to this day like. And I shit you not. I mean, as you know, like I work as a veterinarian, so I see lots and lots of people every day. Every so often, like every 2-3 weeks, especially lately because the weather's a lot nicer here, you'll always see in the waiting room these two girls that look like the girls in The Shining. Almost invariably, I'll open the door and I'll see two little girls and they're in this like, little dresses and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the fucking Shining. It scares the fuck out of me. I get really fucking nervous from the whole thing. And I realize like how psychological that is. That's what makes a good horror film, right? Is the psychological impact of how like later on you're out doing something in your life and all of a sudden that fucking film has rattled your head that you're like, holy shit. Do you remember Blair Witch?
Yes, I do.
Blair Witch was a film that I went to that was a film that I walked out of the movie theater and I actively, like I never do this. I never really badmouth anything. And I actively went out and told people, don't go see that film. It is so fucking stupid. And then Milo, about maybe 2 months later, I went camping. Mm-hmm. And I decided to get out of my tent and go take a pee. And I'm standing in the forest and I was scared beyond belief. It was freaking frightening. I was terrified. I spent the whole week camping, shaking, worried. I was in my tent wondering what's moving outside my tent. It rattled my head. So I think the good criteria for films that like really shake you in horror have to be things that get to you under the core of your psyche and affect your psychological aspect of how you see things. Like, here's a great one. What about Jacob's Ladder? Do you remember Jacob's Ladder?
Oh man, that's such a great film. Yeah, That is one of the few films where, like, the ending of like, spoiler for anyone listening, by the way, where it ends with like, it was all a dream, or like the person's actually dead, or like that kind of. Because I hate that when movies do that, and that was one of those few films where they did it and did it well.
Yeah. That's because you wanted his misery to end.
Well, that's it. And it was just so good. But like that dance sequence when his girlfriend's out on the thing and there's the monster thing and it's like this, super sexy but also super creepy at the same time. Brilliantly done.
I think that's what makes a good horror film. And present day horror films, they fall flat.
No, they try too hard. I think, especially in the U.S., they go more for horror and like blood and gore and jump scares and all of that kind of stuff. You do occasionally see one that comes through, but when it comes to horror films, I'm more into like a lot of Asian horror films nowadays. They have much more of a creepiness to them that stands with you for a while, and so much more well done, I think, than a lot of American films. And that's why the U.S., they're taking Japanese horror films and Korean and taking Chinese and remaking them. That's where we ended up with The Ring and all of those films, because they did such a good job over there that typical US is like, oh, well, it worked there, so let's just copy it. But then the copy sucks. They once again just go too much for the jump scares, and of course they always leave everything open for a sequel, and so they don't end it the same way because they want to make sure that they can potentially do a sequel.
Yeah, I'd say that's absolutely true. It's spot on. It's spot on. You're spot on, Milo.
Anyway, so Takashi Mike, watch anything that he did. He did this movie called Audition, which is a guy. I don't want to give it away too much, but basically a guy's auditioning for, I think if I remember right, like an assistant or something like that. So this like sweet innocent girl comes in, and it turns out like she's totally mental. He does another one called Itchy the Killer, who just like his movies are just so extremely demented that they're absolutely brilliant. Like I would say any horror film director living right now, he's the top of my list. Just brilliant. I love his films. Of the movies of his that I've seen, Takashi Mike has done Itchy the Killer. He did Audition, the one that I mentioned. What else has he done? Sounds like he got kids.
Yeah. So Oscar, this you're talking on a show, a podcast right now. Do you want to say hello to Milo?
No.
Okay. So what do you want?
Telling you something.
What do you want to tell me?
Ask him what his favorite. Ask him what.
Hold on, Milo. Hold on.
All right. What's your favorite horror film, Oscar?
My new car seat in the car.
No, I don't have a new car seat for you. That's the same car.
Mommy brought it.
No, that's yours. That's the same one.
Mommy brought it here.
Yes, because I left it at Crash yesterday. Because there was supposed to be where a friend of Mommy's was supposed to pick you up, and Mommy was supposed to do an appointment for you for your new school. And and well, Mommy decided that she wanted the chair, so she asked me, and I had no choice, Oscar. I had to leave the chair. I had to undo the seatbelt. I had to unpack it from the car. You're leaving? He's leaving. Why? This is sad. Oh, fuck. The cat just ran into the fucking window. Oh my God.
And he slammed the door on his way up.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was your cat?
Like,
I thought that was him slamming the door in the background.
Fuck. Yes. No. Well, he just slammed the door now, but he almost slammed the door on the cat. But prior to that bang, that was the cat literally flying into, I have huge windows that come out to the conservatory, and she flew into the fucking window. Milo, I shit you not. I was sitting here one night, right? And I'm working. Okay, so for anybody that's listening, my cat is an Asian breed of where it's 6 months, almost 7 months of age, and she is fucking batshit crazy. But here's the fucked up thing. The breeder who gave me this cat, she gave me 3 months free insurance. The insurance expired, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, right? It expired, and I let it lapse, and I thought, well, geez, like I don't need fucking insurance. I'm a veterinarian. I should be able, what the fuck? I don't need insurance. I could treat my cat anyway at cost. Mm-hmm. No, you know what ended up happening, Milo? That cat flew into this glass door one night at about 12 in the night. About midnight. Like literally about 4 feet off the ground, her body splat against the window, and she slid down the window. Kind of sat there for a second, regained her fucking consciousness, and off she went parkouring around the whole place again. I thought to myself, holy fuck, I'm screwed. I don't have enough money to pay for the orthopedic surgeries that are going to be needed for this cat. Like, this cat is just like, she's crazy. And I'm really worried that I'm like kind of in a really bad way with this thing. Like, it's going to cost me a fortune, I think.
I think we'll end it on that story. And with that, we're going to talk to you next time. Have a good one. Bye.